Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. UFC 276 is almost here, and this card is just crazy stacked from top to bottom with amazing fights. And headlining the prelims, we have an amazing lightweight matchup, Brad Riddell versus Jalin Turner, and this is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this fight. And I've already done a bunch of UFC 276 prediction videos. I will link those all down in the description if you want to go check them out after this. And this is a fight, when you look at UFC 276 and how crazy stacked it is, Brad Riddell versus Jalin Turner is being massively overlooked. I absolutely love this matchup. The UFC did a great job making this fight. And you have a guy in Jalin Turner, this is his biggest step up in competition. So I'm super curious. He's looked amazing, but how will he look against a guy the caliber of Brad Riddell? And then you have Brad Riddell returning after that massive loss against Rafael Fiziev, where he was TKO'd with that spinning wheel kick that just froze him up against the cage. And I'm curious to see how he rebounds. And the UFC did him no favors giving him a guy like Jalin Turner to have after that loss to Rafael Fiziev. And these are two guys who are so good. The lightweight division is filled with young up-and-coming killers. You have Gamrot, Sarukian, you have Riddell, Turner, Fiziev. I really believe in the next year or two, guys like Brad Riddell and Jalin Turner could be filling out that top 10. So this is a fight you really want to pay attention to on the UFC 276 prelims. So if you look at the tail of the tape for this fight, Brad Riddell is ranked number 14. Jalin Turner is not currently ranked. Riddell is 30 years old. Turner is 27. Riddell is 5'7". Turner is 6'3". Riddell has a 71.5-inch reach, and Turner has a 75.5-inch reach. So a massive height and reach advantage for Jalin Turner. Jalin Turner at 6'3", I have no idea how he makes 155 pounds. That is absolutely insane. Jalin Turner comes into this fight on a 4-fight win streak. He defeated Jamie Mullarkey in his last fight at UFC 272 in March of this year, and this was a fight where he looked phenomenal. He ate some shots, but he was just moving forward nonstop, throwing combinations. Eventually, he hurt Jamie Mullarkey badly in the second round, followed him to the ground, and finished him off with brutal ground and pound. He looked phenomenal in this fight. The fight before it, he defeated Uros Mektic. He defeated him via rear naked choke, but this was all set up with the hands. He was busting him up on the feet, followed him to the ground, and choked him out. And that's the same story with the Brock Weaver fight. Same thing, was basically busting him up and then just went for the submission. There was a weird moment in the Brock Weaver fight where, he dropped him. He thought it was over, but Herb Dean didn't step in and probably shouldn't have stepped in. And then he had to return back to action, just went right back to work, busted him up, got him to the ground, and finished him off with a rear naked choke. And, he was on a 4-fight win streak, but his last loss was against Matt Frevola back at UFC 236, but this was all the way back in April of 2019, 3 years ago. And I believe that Jalin Turner has massively improved since this loss to Matt Frevola back at UFC 236. You look at Jalin Turner, he has 12 wins in his pro MMA career, 5 losses. He's lost 2 fights in the UFC, the one to Matt Frevola, and the other loss is a TKO loss to Vicente Luque. That's not a terrible loss to have on your resume, especially considering Vicente Luque is fighting at welterweight, and he is an elite of the elite welterweight. So not a terrible loss to have. The Matt Frevola loss doesn't look great, but still, it was so long ago, and he's looked so good since then. So if you look at Brad Riddell, he has 10 wins in his pro MMA career, 2 losses. His last fight was against Rafael Fiziev in December of 2021, and this was a highly competitive fight, back and forth fight. Rafael Fiziev, I consider one of the most elite strikers in the entire UFC. And Brad Riddell was able to hang in there with him. It was a very competitive fight. The third round, Rafael Fiziev lands a nasty spinning back heel kick right to the head of Brad Riddell and just freezes him on his feet. It was a bit of a weird stoppage, but I agree with the stoppage. I mean, regardless if the ref would have let it go on for another 5 or 10 seconds, it was over. He was going to get stopped with follow-up shots if he didn't jump in there. He was frozen against the cage. Before that, he was on a massiber win streak. He beat Drew Dober at UFC 263 in June of last year. And this was a fight that a lot of people gave Brad Riddell a lot of praise for. But this was a close fight, and Drew Dober hurt him badly early in the first round. This was a great back and forth fight. It was highly competitive, and people acted like he beat the brakes off of Drew Dober or did something to Drew Dober, like maybe Islam Makhachev, what Islam did to Drew Dober. This wasn't like that. This was a competitive fight. Don't get me wrong, Drew Dober is a great fighter, but I just felt like people were blowing this win out of proportion. And also, I wanted to mention he has an opponent in common with Jalin Turner. Jamie Mullarkey fought him back at UFC 243 in October of 2019. And I know MMA math doesn't work, but I just wanted to mention he beat him via decision. And you have Jalin Turner, who beat him via TKO in the second round. So when I look at this fight, this is a very tough fight to pick because you have Jalin Turner, who is vastly improving every single fight. And when I look at guys who I think might be a future contender or a future title holder, I look at guys that I believe are improving every single fight. You can see noticeable improvements. And then you have a guy like Brad Riddell, who is a very good fighter. I believe, honestly, if he would have beat Rafael Fiziev, he would have been in a much better position. That's a big if, but Rafael Fiziev is now in that top 10, and if he beats RDA in his next fight, he's going to be right up there in title contention. So Brad Riddell was very, very close to being where Rafael Fiziev is right now. It was a very competitive fight. I know he got finished, but I'm just saying the level of competition that Brad Riddell has faced has been much more significant than Jalin Turner. When I look at both guys' skill sets, Jalin Turner appears to have great stamina. The pace that he puts on guys is unbelievable. But Brad Riddell, we very rarely have seen him slow down. We've seen him grow stronger in fights. His fight against Drew Dober, he looked very good in the third round. And Brad Riddell has great striking. He's not the greatest grappler, but he has some decent wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And meanwhile, you have Jalin Turner. The limbs are so long. It just seems like if you try to grapple him, you're going to end up getting choked out or submitted in one way or another. Jalin Turner just has such a weird body style. He's shown in the past the ability to be taken down, but Jalin Turner has also showed some great takedown defense in the Jamie Mullarkey fight, in the Mektic fight, in the Brock Weaver fight. And even the times that he has been taken down, he's able to scramble back to his feet and get back right to where he wants to be, which is in the striking game. So when I look at this fight, if I had to pick an advantage in the grappling, I think maybe Brad Riddell has a little bit better wrestling and maybe the ability to take Jalin Turner down. But I think just Jalin Turner is so good with his scrambles and he never accepts the position on bottom. I really don't think this is going to end up being a Brad Riddell wrestling decision win. I think this fight is going to be primarily contested on the feet. Both guys are very heavy on their lead legs. Jalin Turner, absorbs some nasty leg kicks, but he also throws a lot of nasty leg kicks as well. Brad Riddell does the same thing. He eats a lot of leg kicks, but he throws a lot of them as well. They both have nasty leg kicks. They both are great strikers. And when I look at this fight and I'm like, how do I pick this fight? This is really a toss-up fight. I look at the reach and height and youth advantage for Jalin Turner, mainly the reach and height. It's just a significant height and reach advantage. And I think he's such a wild, unorthodox striker. He throws a lot of body kicks. He's just throwing all different techniques, the variety of attack that Jalin Turner has. And I just believe he can win in so many ways. And I don't really foresee him slowing down in a 3-round fight. We've seen him put a crazy output and still be able to finish guys in the late second round. And he doesn't look the least bit tired. We've seen him show the ability to be able to scramble out of bad positions. So I don't see Brad Riddell taking him down and controlling him on the ground and eking out a decision. So I am going to go Jalin Turner via second round submission. I just think the striking of Jalin Turner will be too much for Brad Riddell. I think Brad Riddell will come out super patient. I think he'll look good early. I think it'll be very competitive in the first round. But I think Jalin Turner will eventually find that shot that rocks Brad Riddell. He's been finished in the Rafael Fiziev fight. He was hurt badly in the Drew Dober fight. And Jalin Turner has nasty power in all his limbs, not just his punches, but his kicks as well. And he has great knees in the clinch as well. He'll have a guy pressed up against the cage. The guy will be standing straight up, and somehow he lands a knee. That's how flexible this guy is. And he's just always looking for a kill shot. And once he finds it, he has a sense of urgency. There's so many times where we see guys hurt a guy and then back off for no apparent reason and not look for the finish. Jalin Turner, if he hurts you, he will not take his foot off the gas. And I really just see Jalin Turner clipping Brad Riddell with something, probably something with the punches, maybe like a 1-2 right straight down the middle, clipping Brad Riddell, rocking him. I see Riddell looking to initiate the grappling and Turner just using his scrambling ability to scramble out of the takedown attempt, defend the takedown attempt, maybe take the back of Brad Riddell and get a rear naked choke. And that's my official prediction. I'm going to go Jalin Turner via second round rear naked choke. I just think Jalin Turner is the future of the lightweight division. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I think Brad Riddell is going to come out and try to grapple Jalin Turner, but I think he's going to just have a little bit of success. I think Jalin Turner is just too good at scrambling. I don't think that his gas tank is bad enough where, Riddell can maybe have a late second round and third round resurgence in this fight. And I think the height, the reach advantage is too much of an advantage for Jalin Turner. The striking, I think Jalin Turner is super unorthodox, and he will find a way to clip Brad Riddell, hurt him, and then eventually submit him in that second round. But I'm really looking forward to this fight. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to win. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.